You have a strategy. You understand the rules. You've backtested. You've studied. You've watched every YouTube video, bought every course, and read every book. And yet, you're still losing money. Or worse, you're breaking even, which somehow feels worse than losing, because at least losing gives you something to blame. Here's what nobody is telling you. The reason you're stuck has nothing to do with your strategy. I'm going to show you exactly what's happening inside your brain right now. And more importantly, I'm going to show you the one shift that separates traders who eventually make it from the ones who quietly quit and pretend they were never that serious about it anyway. But first, I need to show you a graph. And trust me, by the end of this video, this graph is going to feel uncomfortably personal. Back in 1999, two psychologists, David Dunning and Justin Kruger, published a study that accidentally explained why most traders blow up their accounts. They mapped out two things: confidence on the y-axis, competence on the x-axis. And what they found was this: the less you know, the more confident you feel. Sound familiar? Here's what happens to almost every single trader who ever opens a chart for the first time. You put on a few trades. Maybe they hit. Maybe you got lucky on some crypto pump or caught a trend that seemed obvious in hindsight. And suddenly, you feel like you've cracked the code. You're up at 2 a.m., trading pairs you can't even pronounce, with leverage you definitely should not be using. Hey, this is Stick Trader Mind, and today we'll talk about the unending phase that most traders never come back from. Subscribe to the channel if that sounds like something you'd like. You are at what Dunning and Kruger called the peak of Mount Stupid. Yes, that is the actual name. I did not make that up. At this peak, you are completely risk blind. Not because you're dumb, but because you don't yet understand how risk actually works in the markets. You over-leverage. You overtrade. You size into positions like you've got a money printer in the basement. And then the market does what the market always does to arrogance. It humbles you. The losses come. Maybe fast, maybe slow, but they come. And with every red trade, something else disappears too. Something more valuable than the money: your confidence. And here's where it gets really interesting. Because what comes after the crash is something almost nobody talks about. Welcome to the long plateau. This is where you are right now. And if I'm wrong, you wouldn't be watching this video, so just stay with me. The long plateau is the stage where you do everything right on paper. You backtest hundreds of trades. You study every model, every theory, every indicator from RSI to some obscure Fibonacci extension that a guy in a Discord server swore changed his life. You journal, you review, you grind, and yet nothing works. But here's the brutal truth, and I need you to really hear this. The studying isn't the problem. You are the problem, not your intelligence, not your strategy, your perception. You see, the crash didn't just take your money. It rewired how you see the market. You developed what I call edge blindness. Because of the lack of confidence beating you down, you can no longer see when strategies work. You can only see the reasons why they might fail. Every chart looks dangerous. Every setup feels incomplete. You hesitate. You doubt. You over-filter until you filtered out every single opportunity that ever existed. You're like someone who burned their hand on a stove and now refuses to enter the kitchen entirely. The stove is fine, the kitchen is fine, you're the one who changed. And the worst part, this stage can last years. Most traders never leave it. They just slowly reduce their position size, then their screen time, then their belief. Until one day they close the platform for the last time and tell everyone that trading is a scam. It's not a scam. They just never made it out of the plateau. But some do. A small, rare, stubborn group of traders push through. And what happens to them is something I've been waiting to tell you this entire video. Every trader who eventually makes it will point to a specific moment, not a specific strategy, not a specific indicator. A moment, a shift, a click, something that, when it happened, made them look back at everything they'd learned, and suddenly, it all made sense. Like a puzzle that's been sitting half-finished on the table for 2 years, and then one afternoon you walk by and the whole picture is obvious. This is the aha moment. And here's what makes it maddeningly frustrating. You cannot study your way to it. You cannot backtest your way to it. You cannot buy a course that delivers it. It doesn't live in a model or an indicator or a risk management spreadsheet. The aha moment comes from seeing your trading through a completely different lens. one built on three things: context, structure, and self-awareness. Let me break that down because this is the part most people skim over, and it's the most important thing I'll say in this entire video. Context means understanding that no setup exists in a vacuum. The same pattern on a trending day and a choppy day are not the same trade, they just look the same on a screenshot. Structure means understanding where you are in the bigger picture, not just the 5-minute candle, but the market's intention. Are institutions accumulating, distributing, or ranging? This changes everything about how you should trade. Self-awareness, and this one hits different, means understanding that half your losing trades aren't losing because of the setup. They're losing because of the emotional state you were in when you entered. Board entry, revenge trade, FOMO, or it's been 3 days since my last win and I need to feel something entry. We've all been there. Don't lie to yourself. The traders who reach their aha moment are the ones who stopped asking, "What's wrong with my strategy?" and started asking, "What's wrong with how I'm seeing my strategy?" That's the shift. Here's the open secret of trading psychology. You've probably had the knowledge required for your aha moment for a while now. The information isn't missing. The awareness is. Think about it. If I asked you right now, do you sometimes enter trades out of boredom? You'd say yes. Do you sometimes hold losers too long because you refuse to be wrong? Yes. Do you sometimes skip valid setups because the last 3 trades lost and you've lost faith in the strategy? Yes. You know this. But knowing it and actually seeing it in real time, in the heat of a live trade, with a position open and your heart rate elevated, that's a completely different skill. That gap between what you know and what you can execute, that is the plateau. And the reason most people stay stuck in it isn't lack of effort, it's lack of perspective. You are too close to your own trading to see it clearly. You've been staring at this puzzle so long that you've stopped being able to see the pieces objectively. And this is the part I want you to sit with, because it changes the entire direction of how you approach your development. Sometimes all it takes is the right person asking the right questions. Not giving you the answers. Asking the questions that you've never thought to ask yourself. Because the aha moment, it was always inside you. It just needed the right angle of light to finally show itself. So let's recap what we actually covered here. You started trading with zero knowledge and maximum confidence, and the market did what it always does to that combination. Then you fell into the long plateau, where you studied everything and trusted nothing, where every chart looked like a trap, and where the real enemy wasn't the market. It was the broken lens you were looking at it through. And then there are the rare few who push through to the aha moment, not by grinding harder, but by gaining perspective, by developing context, structure, and honest self-awareness. Here's the question I want you to ask yourself before you close this video. Are you trying to solve a strategy problem, or are you avoiding a psychology problem? Because if you're stuck, truly stuck, not just on a bad week, but stuck, the answer is probably not another backtest. It's not a new indicator. It's not a different pair or a different time frame. It's a new perspective. The information you need to become a profitable trader, you probably already have most of it. The hard part is learning to use it when it counts. Under pressure, with real money, with your emotions screaming at you to do the opposite of what the plan says. That's the game. That's always been the game. And now at least you know what level you're on, like this video, if it hit different. Drop in the comments, are you on the peak of Mount Stupid, the long plateau, or have you had your aha moment?